v-am găsit! Nikos Economopoulos este considerat printre primii 3 fotografi din lume în domeniul fotografiei de stradă. S-a născut la Kalamata, în Grecia, în 1953. A studiat Dreptul și a lucrat ca jurnalist. A început să facă fotografii abia la 25 de ani, când un prieten din Italia i-a arătat o carte cu opera lui Henri Cartier-Bresson, care a avut un impact instantaneu, foarte puternic. Așa cum declară domnul Nikos Economopoulos, Cartier-Bresson mi-a arătat un nou mod de a vedea lucrurile. Ceea ce am văzut în lucrarea lui nu a fost doar geometrie și compoziție, ci un fel de ambiguitate. A fost încurajat să se alăture Magnum Photos de către fotograful greco-american Costa Manos și a devenit membru asociat în 1990. În 1992 a câștigat Premiul Mother Jones pentru fotografie documentară. În 1994, după o muncă asiduă în Albania, Bulgaria, România și fosta Iugoslavie, devine membru Magnum cu drepturi depline. A vizitat Timișoara imediat după căderea lui Nicolae Ceaușescu. Fotografiile sale au fost publicate în The Guardian, The Independent, Le Monde, Libération, The New York Times, El País și Die Zeit. So, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm
happy to be here.
I'm glad that we have you here. So let's make an interview about life and photography. Your first lesson about photography is placement of subject. How would you place yourself in this chaotic world?
For me, it's very important the way how the subjects are in the space. I mean, the space is very important for me. The backgrounds, for example, is something really important. The background is like a white paper that you can design anything you want. If the background is very complicated, it makes my life difficult.
Do you think you are a man of your time? Do you like more the past or how the world looks today?
Depends. I mean, the world is really big. I mean, what I do, for example, the last 10, 15 years, I never go to the first world. I never go to the States. I never go to Europe, especially North Europe. I never go to civilized places. I go to places that they are not very civilized. I go a lot in South America. I go a lot in Africa. The first world, I mean, our continent, it's not very attractive to me. Mainly because the people are very suspicious. That's what I don't like from the modern world. The people are very suspicious, you know. They think that everywhere they are enemies, you know. And I hate that. I hate the fact that you are in a place and all the parents, they are afraid that you do something with their children. I think it's really sick, I think. It's a sick feeling. So, but it's easy, you know. The world is so big. You can go in other places. It's so easy, you know. It's very nice that you have this possibility to, if you don't like a place, you go to another. If I visit a country, for example, I never go to ex-Soviet republics, for example. I don't like the feeling there. I don't like this, in the atmosphere there is something that bothers me.
What do you find in these countries that you go and like to go? The simplicity of life or what?
I think originality. The way how the people they react in your presence, mainly the interaction with people. Because in these kind of countries, for example in South America mostly, not so much in Africa, in South America, there is a kind of interaction with people like in the period when I was a kid. I go a lot in Cuba, I go every year in Cuba. And I go there because it reminds me when I was 5, 10 years old kid. And for example, in the afternoons, you see all the people sitting outside of the house, and they don't stay all of them in front of television for hours. They stay outside of the house. They sit outside, you know, the old ladies, even the young people, and they flirt in the street like that. And there is all the time an interaction with the people in the other side of the street or in the neighborhoods. So this is amazing, I think. This is a way of. This is the pleasure of life.
Let's go back to photography.
Yeah.
In photography, it's all about perspective, angles, and of course, light. Would you say that life is the same? It is all about perspective, about how you take it, the angle you see things?
I think the difference between life and photography is that in life there are many feelings. In photography, it depends a lot from the situations if you can bring some feelings in your photographs. It's good if you have the possibility to bring some feelings in because photography it can be something very cold, you know, it can be.
But it also can be very powerful, full of
It is.
emotion. If
Yeah,
you catch the moment of emotion, you transmit that emotion
But
to
that
the
depends
viewer.
of the situation and depends of the place where you are. There are places that it's missing the feelings. They are missing. So when the feelings are missing, it became boring after a little. It's not interesting anymore. It's boring and it's cold and it's you don't get pleasure from life, you know, from your photography in that case.
How do you like to see things, from the ground or from the sky?
Generally, for technical reasons that I don't want to explain now, because you don't like technique, I try to be parallel.
Okay.
I mean, for example, when I photograph kids, for example, I go a little bit down, so I'm in the same level of them. And the people, generally, I'm in the same level of the people. So it's much more direct. I don't like this tunnel feeling that you are from up to down and from down to up. It's a thing like this, you know, it changes the perspective. So I don't like this. I prefer to have this perspective of parallel positions, you know. I mean, my position and the position of the subjects.
This is in photography. Now let's talk life. In life, do you like to see things from up? You can see the bigger picture if you look from up.
Generally, I don't see and I don't photograph the biggest picture. I go in detail, I think. I don't need to show general things, you know, I prefer to go closer and show more, go closer to the people or to the situations. For example, I never use these panoramic pictures, you know, I never use that.
How do you keep your balance in life?
I think my balance comes from the feeling that what I do, it's my choice to do it. And I was in my life very, very lucky about that, you know. I never did something that I don't really like. What I did, I always like it. So that gives me a lot of pleasure and a lot of balance after all.
And I think a lot of liberty. You don't feel the
Definitely,
pressure to do anything that
definitely.
you don't
I'm
like
very
to
lucky
do.
that I can survive, even economically, without do things that only the clients want, you know. First I do what I want, and after some clients, they like it and they buy it. That's it.
Some of your photos look surreal.
Surreal.
Yes. Have you been in many life situations that seems surreal?
What is attractive to me is not the regular, it's the unregular. That's attractive, you know, attracts me. I don't know why, and you know, when something happened to me, I don't want to analyze very much, you know. I work very much with my instinct, you know. The instinct is the first tool for my work and for myself. I always follow my instinct, and the most of the time, of course, you make mistakes, but it's okay, it's part of the game, you know, to make mistakes. But in the other side, if you do that, maybe you make more mistakes than, but I think you are more happy, come on.
Mistakes are part of
of
life
course.
and also of
but
photography.
The instinct, if you follow your instincts, I think you are a more happy person.
Did you make some photos from a mistake and it turned out very good?
It happens a couple of times, but these are lessons, you know. The best photos, they are the photos that they are in the edge of correct and wrong, you know. So it's something, it's a little bit correct, a little bit wrong. So that balance, it's very important, you know, but it doesn't happen all the time. The most of the time, what I'm looking for, it's the balance, so in the frame or in the content, you know, and everything. But sometimes when you have this kind of revolutionary mistake, let's say, it became much more interesting.
What was the biggest surprise of your life? Because in photography, surprise can be a very good factor. You can catch the moment.
So you're talking about my life,
yes.
Surprises of my life. You know, generally, I'm quite conservative. When something strange happened to my life. It's everything, it's under control. I never like get drunk. I never like to get stoned. I never like drugs. I never like to feel that I don't control myself. I like to control myself. But I give a lot of liberty, a lot of freedom to myself in the same time. But freedom is different than to feel that you control nothing, you know? I really hate this feeling of get drunk, you know? I really hate it. I don't like my position to don't understand what's going on, you know? I don't like that. From that point of view, I'm conservative, you know? But in the same time, I try to live in real freedom, you know? I really like to feel free, but in certain limits, you know? The limits are important for me.
You also said that the lens, the photo lens, has no brain. What do you mean by that? That each of us has to think with his own brain and has the liberty to do it, or use your head?
Yeah,
don't let
the lens or the camera, they are pure mechanical tools. I mean, they are nothing. They're just they are tools that you give an order and they follow. So what we need in photography and to have some good results, it's to control the medium, to control the tools and make them work for you. I don't really give much attention to the tools of the modern cameras and the last. I use cameras that I use the same camera for the last 40 years in a way. You know, there is a development, but it's always the same. You know, it's not the big differences of. I don't like to change my tools. I prefer to have the same tools all the time.
I think what you want to say is that the eye and the mind of the people who take photographs is more important than the technique they use.
It's the only important. It's not. I mean, the tools are tools. They're nothing to say. It's like the car. I mean, what do you do with the car? If you drive well, you never had an accident. So the car is just a tool. I mean, it's the way how if you are a good driver or not has to do with you. It's nothing to do with the car. The car is just the tool that you give the order and they follow, you know, and so it's good to control the tools, you know. Otherwise, if we don't control the tools, we are going to be in a dystopic society that is not going to be interesting.
So you also said that one of your advice for the young photographer is don't be nostalgic, go farther.
Oh, definitely, of course. Be nostalgic, you know, it's a very personal thing, and sometimes go back to your childhood period. It's nice, you know. It's nice. Why not? I mean, when I find situations that I remember from when I was a child, it's very emotional. It's nice. But be nostalgic generally? No, I'm not nostalgic generally.
What do you remember from your childhood?
Oh, I remember small things, you know, every day small things that I remember when I fish. I was so good to fish octopus, you know, when I was 7 years old. I was always in the sea till here and looking down, you know, and try to get an octopus. But I always get small octopus and I eat them grilled, you know. I asked my mother to put some fire and I eat this octopus grilled. But I like octopus, not so much fishes. I don't know why.
If you have to make now a photography of you as a child, how would it look like? How would Nikos look?
The place will be in an island.
In an island, okay.
Yeah, because I grew up for some years in an island, and I remember very well that period. I come from the medium-sized city, but my father moved when I was 6, 7 years old. He moved to an island. And I grew up when I was from 7 to 10, I grew up in an island. And that age is very important, you know.
Yes.
I remember, for example, in that island, at that time, no cars. It was without cars. It was a small island without cars. And I remember my mother bought me sandals, you know. And the sandals, I had a feeling that with that sandals, I can run very fast. So I was up and down to the village. You could
be like Mercury with wings on your sandals.
Exactly, yeah. So I was running from down to the sea, up to the church. The church was in the highest place. And I ran up and down all the time, you know, without being tired, never tired, you know. And
with not a care in the world,
no,
with
yeah,
nothing.
yeah, with no reason. You
No
know,
reason, yes.
Just for the
the
joy
fun.
of going around and running without any danger, you know. I was a very free kid, you know. It was really nice.
But you took that liberty and have
all
it
my
with
life.
you in all your life, exactly.
Yeah. Even in my profession, I mean, I'm a professional photographer, but I never follow what the market wants. And I was lucky for that. I have to say that I feel very lucky.
You also said that it's good to know the rules but never follow them. How would you explain
because I mean,
that?
to break the rules, you have to know them. Otherwise, how you break them? So it's good to know the classical photography. It's good to know the history. It's good to know what is beautiful, what's less beautiful. And after, maybe you can do your own photography. I mean, to find yourself individually, you have to know the whole. From the whole, you can choose what you want to do.
Another lesson for the people who start photography, young or old, never mind, it's never stop learning.
Yeah, I completely agree on that. And the biggest pleasure in my life is that the possibility to work all the time, you know, to photograph all the time, because photographing is not really working, you know, it's kind of something between living your life and meditating at the same time, you know, put together real life and meditation. And I still do that, and this is my, for example, the last years, because I don't want to make assignments, you know, I don't want to do things for clients. What I do is I teach, and I found this platform to teach in that way. I mean, I decide where to go. I decide myself where to go for my personal photographic needs. And after I publish it in internet, in social media, and some people, they come to find me there. So we do a workshop there, but it was my responsibility to choose the place and choose where to go exactly. And so the people, they come there, and we meet every evening to show me what they did during the day. And day by day, I try to tell them what are the mistakes, what is the best, so to make every day to make corrections in their photography. And that's how they learn, you know, that's the way they learn. And it works, really it works.
Okay, so you said that you go back, and this is another lesson for photographers, go back in the same places.
Yeah, I always do that. I go back I go many times in the same place.
And see things maybe differently or the same.
You know, when you know a place, you know many details of the place. So when you go back, you find again some things that you already know and some others that you don't know.
Just like in life.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, photography and life, they are very similar, you know.
And talking about life, you have been here in Romania 32 years ago, and now you are back. How do you find our country and our city? Is it changed?
You know, the first time when I came here, it was before the 91. I came here the first time in 77, I think, during the Ceausescu. I mean, during the period when in the houses it was forbidden to have more than 12-degree temperature in the winter.
I can remember that.
You remember that?
Yes.
So it was a place that it was very strange to see that place at that time. You know, I was a student in Italy at that time, and I live in a European country and quite not rich but wealthy. So coming here at that time, it was like go to hell in a way. Especially, you know, for example, I remember we met a girl in Bucharest. She came to us, you know. She came and she looked at us like this, you know, this girl. And you know what she wants from us? To go around by car, and she likes just that, you know, to go around by car.
Yes, because in Romania cars weren't...
it was not for
yes,
everybody.
Yes.
So we were around, and she said always, go there, you know, and we were 50 kilometers out of the city, you know, just because she likes to go around. Very strange things, you know, that was not very natural. And yeah, now it's Romania, it's a European, normal European country. I mean, there is nothing to do with that period. So during the revolution, of course, it was not again a normal situation. I mean, when I arrived in Bucharest in 90 or 91, there were bodies in the streets, there were funerals all the time, there were cemeteries everywhere, and there were people protesting, you know, and it was a completely different situation. I mean, it was in crisis, it was a country in crisis. So today it's, you know, it's like to go everywhere. It's the same thing in Europe, everywhere. So I'm happy that I found out that it's not destroyed. I mean, you don't destroy the architecture, you don't destroy the old beautiful buildings. I think this is amazing, because in the rest of Europe, when the tourism came out in the beginning of the 60s and the 70s, many countries like Greece, even Italy and Spain, they destroyed part of their
heritage,
their tradition.
Yes.
And I mean, if you've seen South Spain, for example, close to the sea, how they destroyed the architecture, it's terrible. Even in Greece, not in the islands, but in the rest of the country, they put these big hotels close to the sea. It's terrible. But today, I think the people they are more mature about that, and they don't destroy it. They try to keep the good things, and because it's good for tourism, you know, to keep them. Like in the Greek islands, for example.
Of course.
You have this amazing architecture, and they keep it, of course, because if they don't keep it, tourism is going to collapse. There's nothing to go to see. Why you have to go? In Santorini, for example, if you destroyed the architecture of Santorini. So, yeah, I think it's the last years is more, of course, from the other side, the way of life and the mentality of the people is changed and became a little bit more mass tourism, you know. So we lost this kind of originality, and the originality of the people and the sincerity of the people. But you know, I mean, when in a place arrive thousands of tourists, for sure is going to change, you know. It's not possible to keep this originality anymore.
And my last question,
Yeah.
if you have to describe your photography or your photos in one word, what word would that be?
Photography, for me, it can be happiness, you know, it can be pleasure and happiness. I think this is photography. Even if you photograph difficult subjects, you know, the interaction
Yes.
that's coming out gives you happiness. I think interaction is the right word. The interaction between photography and life. I think this is the main feeling for me.
Thank you very much for
Thank
this,
you. It was a really nice conversation.
for this
really,
interview,
thank you.
and I hope this is the idea that our audience have to keep in their mind. Be happy.
Yeah,
Keep that feeling of happiness.
Of course, that's the only reason to live. Come on.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Dragii
you.
noștri, sper
Thank
că v-a
you.
plăcut acest dialog. Ne vedem data viitoare la întâlniri esențiale.